And for more on this latest vaccine development and the latest on COVID-19 news, I'm joined now by infectious disease specialist Dr. Todd Ellerin. Dr. Ellerin, good morning. Thanks for being on again. I wanted to start with that tweet from the president talking about therapeutics. We have talked about therapeutics many times before on this show, but just give us a quick update on what the latest is and what kind of care does the general public get compared to the kind of care that the president received when he had COVID?
Right. Well, the president's correct. Our therapeutics are better than they were in the spring. We have now antivirals that we can use, like remdesivir, which bring down the amount of virus in our body. We have dexamethasone, which is the first and only medication so far that has actually shown a survival benefit, decrease in mortality. It helps calm the immune system to prevent our bodies from developing that immune storm. So there's no question that with that and with our general intensive care unit care that we're giving these patients, we know what to do. We know how to manage the ventilators, those breathing machines. We're in a much better place than we were. And because of that, overall mortality is going in the right direction.
All right, so now there are also 2 vaccines on the way to potential approval by the FDA and a third showing real promise. What do you think of this news from Oxford?
Oh, this is very good news. You know, Diane, one of the keys, and I've mentioned this to you before, is that the scientists have found the right target, that spike protein, making sure that our body develops antibodies against that protein so the virus can't enter the cell. Where these vaccines prevent virus from hijacking the inside of our cells, and that's good news. So even though we don't have effectiveness data from AstraZeneca yet and Oxford team, that's the phase 3 trials, since their immune results are very promising and that it looks like older patients, 70 and older, have a similar immune response to younger patients, that is extremely encouraging news. For instance, the flu shot, the immune response in older patients is not as good as it is in younger patients. So to hear that the phase 2 results are encouraging gives you the sense that we're going to hear some promising results in their phase 3 efficacy trials.
We'll take as many of those promising results and good news as we can get, Dr. Ellerin. We're also now 1 week away from Thanksgiving. We heard some new warnings lately telling college students either not to go home or not to come back to school if they do. Can you walk us through the concerns there?
Sure. So, Diane, the key here is mobility. The more we move away from our homes, the further we go and then come back, the more likely we are to spread COVID-19. That's just a fact. There are studies that have proven that. So I think what we're hearing is that the worst case scenario is for students to leave their campus, come back to their homes, and then as they fan out back into the college campuses, that's really the worst case scenario. So what you're hearing, and remember, there are about 20 million students in the United States. There have been a little over 250,000 COVID-19 infections among them. That's a little over 1%. So the college campuses and students overall have done a really good job in keeping these numbers low. But still, as you move back into the home, you're going to start exposing people who are more vulnerable, and that's a problem. So better to either stay on campus, or if you're going to come home, best to stay at home and not go back before the Christmas holiday.
And what are our options if we want to celebrate with people outside our household?
Okay, so I don't recommend that right now, but if you're going to do it, I think the key is to still keep those numbers small. You'd like to ideally separate those tables, so not just one big table with everyone around. Keep distances between the families. Open those windows like you've reminded me several times. Changing the ventilation is critical. Okay, we want the air circulating so the virus isn't just hanging above us. And then again, really think twice if you're going to bring a vulnerable person, elderly, chronic medical conditions into your home. And then testing, I think, is a minimum. Everyone should be tested before bringing outside family members into your home.
And then I want to ask you one more question. This is based on 2 different conversations I've had with people that I know. One, sadly, the whole family got COVID, and the young daughter is now hospitalized. But she was surprised that when they initially went to the doctor, they were just given a Z-Pack and sent home. And another friend who now also has it, the doctor recognized from his cough right away that it was COVID and wouldn't even touch him. No treatment, no therapeutics, no nothing. So if you're not in one of those grave cases that requires being in the ICU, what are reasonable expectations for medical professionals when it comes to your care and your therapeutics?
Well, you're bringing up a good point. I told you the first question, I said that we're much better with our therapeutics, but that's really focused on inpatients, not outpatients in the ambulatory setting. We really, like, for instance, we don't have that Tamiflu like we have for influenza. We need that antiviral or some type of medication that can really help outpatients. Now, just recently, we heard that Eli Lilly had an emergency use authorization for their monoclonal antibody. Now, that will be very helpful for high-risk people in the outpatient setting. We're trying to figure out now how to deliver those antibodies to at-risk patients. So that remains to be seen. So we're going in the right direction, even in the outpatient setting. But it's true, most outpatients with COVID-19 who are well, we don't give them any specific anti-COVID therapies.
All right. Just want people to understand what to expect when they go to the doctor. It's such a difficult time for anybody going through this, obviously, and the more information we can give them, I think the better. Dr. Todd Ellerin, that's why we love having you on. Oh, did you want to add something?
I want to say one more thing.
Sure.
Please do not celebrate Thanksgiving as business as usual, okay? If you are, then you have to look long and hard at some of those family members around the table, because some of them will not be around for Christmas.
All right. It's a grim prediction, but an important one. Dr. Ellerin, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.